Welcome to the Leadership Spark podcast, where we equip you to be the great leader your people deserve. This is Corey, and today we're going to talk about leadership conversations again. And I want to share with you something that I think is intuitively something you know. I really do. I think that you understand this. I think I understand this. But when it comes to in the real flow of work, when it comes to us having actual conversations, there are default things that kick in us. And a lot of that may be the way we're wired, the way that we like to communicate or like to be communicated with, or how direct we want to be, or how abrasive we want to be, or upfront, or how gentle, whatever that may be. We all have our preferences. And when it's in the heat of the moment, whenever we are having some of these conversations that we need to have as a leader, we can forget this and default back to whatever is natural for us. But I want to remind you today, when you're having these leadership conversations, of two words. And it's the two words, words matter. Words matter. How you say something in the conversations that you're in as a leader carries a lot of weight. We talked about the relationship bank account. Deposits into the bank account, withdrawals out of the bank account. Feedback can be both. We talked about that last time. It can be a deposit in the bank account when you accentuate the positive. It can be a withdrawal when you need to have a hard conversation, a constructive conversation, a challenging conversation, which as a leader, you're going to have a lot of those. That's part of the job. And if you want people to reach the level that you envision and dream for them to reach, maybe even beyond what they think they can do, then they're going to need feedback. You're going to need feedback. I need feedback. But at the end of the day, words matter. How you say something matters. And it can ultimately be the differentiator between you getting the outcome you want or creating more chaos or problems. And I have seen so many times someone's intent, a leader's intent, being pure, like they have the right intent, but the words they use actually had the adverse effect from what they were intending to communicate. And so I want you to think about that. And I want to give you a few examples of how your words could shift based on what you're trying to communicate, just to give you some handles and an idea of what this could look like. So instead of saying this to your teammate, can I give you some feedback? You can say, here's my reaction. And when you do that, you can see that the focus becomes not on the person, can I give you some feedback? But now the focus becomes me of, hey, here's my reaction. What do you think about this? And you can use that to open up the conversation. Or instead of saying, good job, you're accentuating the positive, right? Good job. You can say, here are 3 things that really worked for me. What was going through your mind when you did them? Here are 3 very specific things that you did that impacted me. Help me understand what you were thinking whenever you were going through that, instead of just saying the generic, good job. Instead of saying, here's what you should do, you can say, here's what I would do. If I was in your situation, here's what I would do. You can do what I would do, or you can just do what you think is the right thing to do. And your words matter. You'll get a different outcome if you use that. Instead of saying, here's where you need to improve, you can say, here's what worked best for me and here's why. See the subtle shift there, to where it changes the dynamic of the conversation that you're having. Instead of saying that what you did didn't really work, you can say, what you did, when you did X, I felt Y, and I didn't get that. Can you help me understand it? Instead of saying, you need to improve your communication skills, you can say, here's exactly where you started to lose me when you were communicating, or what confused me. Instead of saying, hey, you lack strategic thinking, you can say, I'm struggling to understand your plan. Can you help me understand it more? And so those are subtle changes in the way that you would respond, or the question that you would ask. And I would say this, and I've learned this in my relationship with my wife and my kids, is that the one word to stay away from as much as possible when you are initiating these conversations, especially if it's a withdrawal conversation, a hard conversation, is the word you. Try to do that this week. Try to go this week without using, or at least limiting, the word you in your conversations that you have with people on your team, but instead just share your perspective on it and see if that helps the people that you're having a conversation with lean in a little bit more. And so to wrap this up, just remember, your words matter. And so you start to think about how you say things and the effect that could have on people around you, and then change the way you communicate that would bring out the best and ultimately get the outcome that you want. And so if you remember those 2 words, words matter, then it will help you out a lot as a leader, being able to lead at the level that you want to lead.